day to you, and thanks for staying tuned to Sunrise FM 96.1. We are glad that you're staying glued to your dial station, Sunrise FM 96.1, and I'm glad to welcome you to the program A Stitch in Time. My name is Precious Chwekeze. Remember that what we do here on A Stitch in Time is telling us to take action immediately to avoid had I known, so that we don't delay and then regret it tomorrow. So this is where we urge each and every one of us to take action. And today we are taking action on a matter that is of global importance. It's not just something that is within us here. We're talking about the re-emergence of monkeypox, especially here in Nigeria. It's not just here in Nigeria. Is Ogunyere DRC, that's Democratic Republic of Congo. But there's been speculations that we have some cases here in Nigeria, and that is the more reason why we have to take all the precautionary measures to ensure that it doesn't spread. And talking about measures, I think there is need, even without this kind of outbreaks that we have from time to time, there is need for us to take preventive measures seriously. We need to put all the measures in place just in case, instead of waiting until when something happens, then we begin to run up and down. It doesn't make sense. If that happens, it will spread. It will affect a good number of persons, which shouldn't be. But if we, ahead of time, even without anything happening, without any outbreak, without any epidemic or whatever, already put measures in place, it will help us in situations like this, so that when they come, we can easily contain them. I mean, containing the spread of this kind of contagious diseases. So back to the matter. Today on A Stitch in Time, we're focusing on the re-emergence of mpox, that's monkeypox, as we used to know them. So it's now called mpox. So you know that this is not the first time we are having mpox, the outbreak. It has happened back in the days, not once, and it's happening again, and is a call for concern. So we have in the studio someone to discuss this matter and possibly advise us on the way forward, especially the preventive measures, because we need to take action immediately. Our guest on today's edition of A Stitch in Time is Dr. Ogunna Chinedu Nwachukwu. He is a consultant community health physician and a lecturer, Department of Community Medicine, University of Nigeria Teaching Hospital, Itukwuozala, Enugu. Doctor, we are glad to have you on the program today.
Thank you, moderator. I'm glad to be here. The viewer, it's a time for us to do one stitch that will save a whole lot of nine. It's your life we're about to talk about. Thank you.
That's right. Thank you once again for being here. Can you start by providing for us an overview of the current mpox outbreak, especially here in Nigeria, and what are the details? Because we need all the information. We need to take action. We need to know what to do, what to do, and what not to do. So.
Thank you for the opportunity. Viewer, let's just go straight. Mpox, previously known as monkeypox, it is a viral infection. It is caused by the virus, the monkeypox virus. It is transmitted to man, by man, or from animal to man, or from environment to man. All these are why it becomes what it becomes, because it's highly contagious. And it can, when you talk about the environment, the surfaces where these infected animals or humans had touched, the blisters had touched, it then had to go. Why is it important? It's of public health importance. Only 2 days back, on Wednesday precisely, the WHO, World Health Organization, had declared mpox a global emergency. When WHO declares a disease global emergency, it gives it its highest alert status, though it doesn't necessarily mean that that disease will be contagious or it kills readily. But once they say that a disease is of global emergency, that's show the seriousness is attached. This bore out of the spread of this disease from where we know in African region, the Democratic Republic of Congo, DRC, where it has been like, just like the presenter has just like said, is Domot is there. It can be, that's when people will below there if you want to know. But the problem is just like it has been affecting a whole lot of people recently, and it has flared up. As we speak, as at 2 days ago, 500 deaths has been recorded across African region, and it's terrible. And if you listen to the news today, you will hear that Sweden and Pakistan had equally recorded cases. So it is spreading. So it has gone beyond African region. It has entered Europe and is getting to Asia. So it's just a small world, and you can see that it's just growing. Currently in Nigeria, there have been recorded at least 39 cases across 33 states in the country. This had made the Nigeria Center for Disease Control to place a red alert in every nooks and cranny, especially warning some states like our own dear Enugu State and Lagos State, among other 31 states in the country. So, and African Center for Disease Control and Prevention had already declared mpox a disease of public health importance, and they have been doing everything humanly possible to alert the ports, the boundary people, where people are coming into this country, to be watchful, to increase the surveillance and make sure that such people with such disease symptoms and signs are not let into the country. When they are seen, they will be reported. So there's a red alert and high alert. Everybody, including you, should equally tune in and be in that spirit, because, as we say, a sitting time saves nine. Remember, by time around 2017 to 2019, this disease was there. And you could remember, if you can cast your mind back, how the fringe it was in Enugu State when one case of monkeypox was diagnosed in Enugu State. It was a terrible thing, and I don't wish we will go back to it. This is why it's I thank the management of ESBS for deeming it fit to join in this chorus, join the whole world in trying to raising the awareness and creating the alertness that every individual, including you, must take to make sure we save a whole lot of lives. Now, remember, 500 deaths had died in a space of about 2 months now, thereabouts. And more will die if caution is not taken and if care is not taken. So, to be forewarned is always to be forearmed. Let's put on our watch and make sure that we pick it out and try and prevent it from growing. The thing is in your hand. I tell you, just few days we are talking about it in the region of Africa. Today, it had gotten to Pakistan.
To European countries.
It has gotten to Sweden. So, you see, it's something that is in the backyard. The world is a small place. You never know who can take it on. Please, please, be watchful. What you eat, where you go, what you touch, what you wear, because they can be source of what kills you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Doc. We really appreciate that overview you've given to this particular issue. So we would like to know, can you tell us about what this mpox is all about? Like, what causes it? How does it come about?
Okay.
Is it from the name? Because the name before mpox, we know of monkeypox. Is this disease from a monkey, or is it just a name?
Ordinarily, is a zoonotic disease. It's a disease of the primates. It's a disease of the animal. But which finally will find its root into the human population. It's not a primary disease of human. As we pointed out before, it is caused by infection with monkeypox virus. It's the virus that gives this disease condition, because once it gets into your body, it will definitely cause this mpox infection. As we say, this mpox can be transmitted from man to man, from person to person. It can also be transmitted from animal to person. It can equally be transmitted from environment to person. See, let's look at all these scenarios and then get it. From human to human contact with an infected person. When you make contact with an infected person, it's likely that you're going to have this disease, including through contact, as in skin to skin contact, where you are doing things like kissing, where you are having sexual intercourse, when you are having skin to skin touch, hugging, and all sort of intimate contact, you are at risk of having this disease. Again, we'll say that you can have it through animal to man. This can be through eating the animal that are infected with this disease without preparing or cooking it very well, and this will definitely be transmitted. When you touch the secretions from this animal, the things that come out from this animal, the blood and the other fluid that come from this animal, you touch it. When you eat the animal that is not properly cooked well, then you are liable to get it. The people who are at risk here are hunters. People go into the bush to hunt. They can see an animal that is weakened by this disease. They will just give it a little thing and carry it without knowing that the animal is half done. It has half killed by this infection, and then lo and behold, you will have it. For people who go and eat wild animals, who eat bush meat, be sure of the source of the meat and be sure that it is properly and well cooked before you enjoy the delicacy, because after eating, you may pay for it with your life. So you be conscious. It can equally be through the environment when the materials around is contaminated, through the clothing. If somebody who has this monkeypox wears a cloth and you share the same cloth with the person, you are at high chances of getting this disease. If you lie on the same bed where this person who will have this disease has lived, you have greater chances of getting contacted with it. If you are around an environment, utensils, or what this person has touched, be sure that you come down with it. Okay, we equally said that apart from the surfaces, do you know a mother can equally transmit it to a child? So this is possible. Mother to child transmission in this case is very, very possible. So if you see somebody who is having this, please make well to alert the health authorities so that appropriate measures, appropriate precaution will be taken to help prevent others around the person from getting it and giving the person adequate and required treatment promptly. I think you have done a great disease if you will do this. Please be on the watch out and see any person who has this. The symptoms can be in this form without being prompted. Let's go on and then talk about it. You ask me, if I say if you see, how would you know who you see?
Yeah.
But it's good. We'll look at it. One is that the person will have rashes, lesions. We have blisters all over the person. Then, you know, the Igbos course they normally give you. They said, Otolo is afos, but Ketepa is like blisters.
Blisters, so that's
Yes.
terrible.
Yes, so whenever you hear Ketepa Wabug, that's not a good thing. But in this case, the blister is like of that Ketepa. Ketepa is like a small pause of the old days. So the monkeypox, it has those blisters and lesions around the person's body. The person has very high fever. The fever is not abating. The person will complain of headache, say that his head is aching him. His head is aching him. It's paining him. Then again, the person will show serious sign of fatigue, tiredness. The person will not be doing well. He will not be at his best. He will not be with all the strength he normally command. There will be muscle pain. The person will always notice if you do small thing, you will say that the pain is unbearable. Then there are possible swelling lymph nodes. The normal thing, you will know those swelling lymph node. In my own palace, they said aharaja. That's something, or some people call it oracle. When something happened to your leg, you have a wound on your leg, you will see around your thigh, front thigh, there will be something like a ball around there that sometimes is painful, sometimes it's not. That thing is a typical of a swollen lymph node. So this can be in your armpit, it can be anywhere. So in such people who have mpox, they tend to have this swelling lymph node all around the body. The person will always complain of back pain, that the back is paining him, the back is paining her. When there is no other cause of visible cause of this back pain, please, in case you see any of these symptoms, kindly alert the health worker. Kindly alert somebody who has a reasonable knowledge about this and a reasonable suspicion about this disease. More so, if that person had had all these things we've talked in the past. If the person is a hunter, if the person has had contact with somebody who has this, or somebody who had this in prodromal stage, is most likely to come down with it. It's better for the person to go and see the doctor. Remember, the normal adverts, if you take paracetamol for 2-3 days and symptom persist, they said consult your doctor. Please, in this case, it's not an exception. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Doctor. These symptoms, these signs and symptoms that you listed out, don't you think that it's possible that people can mistake these symptoms for the symptoms for other diseases? Is there anything in particular that can differentiate these symptoms of mpox from those of other diseases that are like this?
That's what I'm saying. Is if that person have rashes, and have those lesions around, rashes with what's his name, with thigh fever, fatigue. Please, it's not for you to say it's this or it's that. It's for you to go to the person who had been trained to make distinction and know which one is which. Your own is, if you've noticed this, don't bother of what it is. Let that person say, oh no, it is not monkeypox. Oh, it is this. But let that decision not be yours to make. Yours is, immediately you say it, go and do it. Because we say, a stitch in time saves 9. By the time you will be trying to see if you can see this, you don't play drought with such illnesses because they can take your life. You shouldn't try to make a distinction. It is not this. We are not saying you should make a distinction or make a diagnosis and start treatment by yourself. No. Remember, if you see something, say something. If you see such things, rush and then take action and alert people. Because if you don't, you may be the next victim. You may be the person that this may. If you are escaping it, your loved ones may not be lucky enough to escape. Just like we said, it is not good for you to come to the marketplace and throw stone because you don't know whose head the stone will land on. So once you see such things, stop patronizing self-medication. No. This is a time for you to more so where the whole world has alerted WHO, what will make them to give it the highest alert states. It has been given to mpox. That is global emergency. As we're speaking, mpox is at that level of global emergency. Just like the African Center for Disease Control has declared it an emergency as well, a public health emergency. So it's not something that is for you to let the health workers, the doctors do those things they've been trained for, to diagnose that this is the disease and then set out ways to recover the person from the jaws of the monkeypox.
Okay, talking about recovering the person, when the person have noticed some of these symptoms that you've mentioned, and have taken the first step of going to the hospital for diagnosis, and the person is diagnosed with this mpox, what are the treatments available?
The treatments are,
And do we have mpox vaccines available in Nigeria, especially at the moment with this situation now?
right. I will take it one because we will do the ones that are available.
Yeah.
We'll do the ones that are needful. We'll do the ones that we can do, and then leave the ones that you can't do to those who are trained to do. Treatment is for a specialized set of people to do. But what you could do, you can prevent it. So I would rather start with talking about the preventive measures that you are supposed to do as a layman, as an individual, in your small place. What should you do to make sure that this didn't even come to your house in the first place? One is try to maintain a high level of personal hygiene. You make sure that you keep your environment and surroundings and your persons to a very clean state. Don't allow it to always be dirty, and don't allow animals to come and mess it up, because at the end of the day, this can be a source of illness to you. Two, you try to get vaccinated, as she has pointed out. That's a vaccine, but the availability in this globe may be things I can't say for sure. But be that is may, get vaccinated. Vaccine is one very sure way. You take 2 doses. But if you have taken the dose before, at the end of the day, that you will definitely needed a one more shot to top the dose, and you may not do any. I don't say for sure, I don't know about the stock in Nigeria, but I think with this problem in sight, I pray and I know that the government will equally stock the vaccine for this mpox. Then the third thing we should do to avoid contact with infected person. If you see somebody who is having fever and having blistered and having rashes, please, if you are not trained to be around the person, don't even do a heroic one. Avoid the person and don't go near the person. Then you try as much as possible to make sure that all the meats that you're going to eat is properly and adequately cooked. Don't do half done, because you don't know what killed the animal, most especially when they are wild source, bush meat in particular. Then you should try as much as possible to practice safe sex, because this disease in particular is contaminated through or contracted through sex. So if you have a safe sex practice mode, it will help you to curb this disease to a long way. Because remember, we say that even through kissing that you can get this infection done. Avoid contact with infected animal. Even if you are so much in love with some animals, when they are sick, avoid them, because you don't know what they are suffering from until they are taken care of by the veterinary doctors. But be sure that in everything, utmostly, you should try and prevent it. I said, when it happens, report and leave the treatment to our doctor. I'm not a fan of trying to tell people, because it will encourage a lot of people to be doing self-medication at home. They will feel that they know what to do. You don't know what to do because you don't understand. You are not trained to do that. But once they are available and diagnosis, be less assured that adequate treatment will be accorded to the person. Thank you.
Thank you. It is good to know that we have treatments available for this mpox, even though, just like you rightly said, that the best thing is to prevent, because prevention is better and cheaper than cure. So we should go for prevention. But in a situation where we cannot do anything and it happens, thank God we have a treatment available for such persons. But then, in having these treatments and in health professionals doing their jobs in ensuring that they contain this outbreak or this kind of outbreak that may happen in future, can you tell us some of those challenges that these health professionals face in responding to outbreaks like this mpox?
Thank you very much. It has been an uphill task in Igbo parlance. As ada as what you can see, I think the equipments, the tools that they need to pursue this are scarcely available. They are not available. These health workers will be doing bravery things and doing a whole lot. They don't have equipments and tools to work with. The funding. That's next to lack of funding. You know what is being budgeted in our annual budget. You know what is budgeted to health. Let alone what will be budgeted to this department that is public health in Ministry of Health for them to undergo this. The funding. Okay, will you just be pursuing monkeypox or pursuing COVID-19 or trying to leave that and chase cholera? Tell me which one you will do. Malaria had been there as the landlord and has been doing that. How will you do all these things without this funding? I'm saying that this is a great challenge that impede their work. The health workers are poorly remunerated. They are not encouraged. And then you ask yourself, how many people will be doing this work we are talking about? A lot had moves in drones out of these shores of this country. They've gone to where they are being, appreciated and paid better. So this had been a great work because the number is very, very small to do this work. You will not see where one person will be doing work that 3, 4, 5 people could have ordinarily done because they are not taking and people are not encouraged to do that. Again, you see, the employment is being delayed. Some people who are there will retire before the new set of people are employed. Then you now see that the institutional memory, like take for instance that 2017 and 19, when this epidemic happened, when this global epidemic or what's called outbreak happened, those who are in service there, I'll tell you, a good number of them have retired. And some who are now in service may be people who are taken into service after the 2019. But if employments are being done as and when due, you see these people learning from those who have done it, and they transfer this institutional memory, and will help us in fighting the disease and then try to protect ourselves because they know what these people experience and is being transferred. So it's a very, very vital challenge for the health workers. So you now can see that we have international collaboration, but somebody can always push you up a tree to his height. The difference between his height and where you climb depends on you. So there is still this self-effort that we should do by ourselves, for ourselves. You asked me about vaccine, and I mumbled over it. How are you sure that our vaccine are there? The vaccines, if are being locally produced, I'll tell you that we have enough stock to go round. But we still depend on international community. And when the same thing is affecting them as is coming globally, everybody will be holding it. People will say, Oko dakolum, dakolum. I will first of all take off the ones that is affecting me and then leave that of my child. So This is critical things that are being beseeching the health workers in this era of fight, internal fight against almost every emerging and re-emerging disease in our globe.
This is a big one. But Doc, what is the way forward? In 1 minute, can you tell us the way forward? What should the government do? You've told us about what the individual should do in this case in terms of prevention and what the health professionals are doing. What is expected of the government to ensure that the health workers are better placed to respond to this kind of issues when they come?
Said increase funding, employ as and when due, maintain adequate and workable environment, turn around our machines and institutions that can give us things like our vaccine so that we not depend in any external sources to source these things. Then, for everybody, it is internal vigilance. Surveillance, active and passive, is what we need to make sure that we get this war won on a platter of gold. I will just end by the word of Zebediah Okoribu Elias Fortat. He always will tell you, my friend, kiosk is always better than provision store. So you should always try as much as possible to make sure that you see that your provision store is better than that kiosk. That's when you say that prevention is better than the cure. You will not see that provision store is better than kiosk. Keep fit, keep vigilant, and make sure that we win this fight. Thank you.
Oh wow, that's really a beautiful way to end this show today. I must really appreciate you, Doc, for being here and for the insights. They are really helpful and educative. God bless you.
And you too. Thanks.
Okay. Our guest today has been Dr. Obunna Chinedunwachuku, who is a consultant community health physician and lecturer, Department of Community Medicine, University of Nigeria Teaching Hospital, Itukwazala, Enugu. And you've heard it from what he said today, that prevention is always better and cheaper than cure. So take action today and be sure, and we will be sure, that mpox will not spread. It is actually a collective effort. This is not something we are living for the government alone or living for the health professionals. Each and every one of us need to take action to see that we kick mpox out of Nigeria and out of the world especially. Okay, on this note, we'll wrap it up for today's edition of the program. It's teaching time, even as we discuss the re-emergence of mpox, especially in Nigeria. We thank you immensely for being there, and we urge you to take action today because it will go a long way in saving a whole lot of lives. Thank you for being there once again. My name is Precious Chwekezi. Don't forget that your life is precious, so protect it and guard it jealously.